Hadith 3. The Kaf takes one far away from hell. An ibn Abbasin radiyallahu anhuma annahu kana mu'takifan fi masjid Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam fa'atahu rajulun fasallama alaihi thumma jalasa faqala lahu ibnu Abbasin ya fulanu araka ta'iban ha zinan qala na'am ya abna amma Rasulullah li fulanin alayya haqqan wala wa hurmate sahibe hadal babre ma aqdiru alayhi qalabnu Abbasin afala ukalimuhu fiha qala in ahbabtu qala banta'ala banu Abbasin thumma kharaja min al masjid qala lahu rajulu annasita ma kunta fihe qala la walakinni sami'atu sahibu hadal qabre sallallahu alaihi wasallam wal ahdu bihi qaribun fadammat innahu wa huwa yaqulu man mashafi hajatil akhihe wa balaga fiha kana khairan lahu min a'tikafin ashre sinina wa man a'takafa yaman abtinga wajhallahi ja'alallahu bainahu wa bainan nar thalatha kanadik abada mimma bainal kafiqain. And this is narrated by Dabrani, Bayhaqi, Al-Hakam, this is Bayhaqi, right? Bayhaqi. Ibn Abbas, God be pleased with them, reports that while he was once in retreat in the mosque of the Prophet, a certain man came to him, greeted him, and sat down. Ibn Abbas said to him, I see that you seem troubled and sad. The man replied, Yes, O son of the uncle of the messenger of God. Contact of God upon him and peace. I am indeed troubled, in that I have an obligation to fulfill towards someone. I swear by the holiness of the intimate of this honored resting place. The Prophet's grave was nearby the masjid, that I am not able to fulfill this obligation. Ibn Abbas inquired, Shall I intercede with that person on your behalf? The man replied, By all means, if you so wish. Ibn Abbas put on his shoes, When out of the mosque, the man saying this said, "Have you forgotten that you are in itikaf?" Tears filling his eyes, Ibn Abbas replied, "No, but the occasion is still fresh in my mind when I heard the esteemed intimate of the tomb say, 'Whoever sets forth in the way of settling a necessary affair on behalf of his brother, that service shall be better for him than to perform the retreat for 10 years. And whosoever performs retreat for a day, thereby seeking, Allah will spread 3 trenches between him and the fire of hell, the width of each trench being greater than the distance between heaven and earth." Note: 2 things are clearer from this narration. In the first place, we are told that by way of reward for one's days, itikaf, Allah spreads 3 trenches between him and the fire of hell, the width of which equals the distance between heaven and earth. And Kashif al-Gumma, Alama al-Shahrani relates a hadith wherein the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Whoever performs itikaf for the final 10 days of Ramadan, for him is the reward of 2 Hajj and 2 Umrahs. And whoever performs itikaf from Maghrib until Isha, nothing except performing the Salah and reciting the Quran, Allah will build a palace for him in Jannah." Now, if you're going to throw in Arabic words as a technical term, it'd be good if they used the real plural. It's not just ain at the end or something. There's variations in using the plural, and then there's the double plural, and there's different types of plurals too. Some words. In the second place, we are told that performing a service for one's brother brings a reward greater than 10 years of itikaf. For this reason, Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu broke off his itikaf. Now, why does it use the plural in this narration? Somebody else could have mentioned, I think. Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu broke off his itikaf. It was, of course, possible for him to continue it afterward. The Sufis say that Allah has such regard for very few things as He has for a broken heart. It is for this reason that we have been so much warned of the appeals to Allah, that person whose heart has been hurt through any unjust treatment or punishment. Whenever the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam appointed anyone as a governor, in addition to advising him, he would also warn him to beware of the dua to Allah, the persecuted. Note that i'tikaf terminates when one leaves the masjid, even for a task on behalf of a fellow Muslim. Now, you can keep plants and animals alive if it's necessary for you to leave to get them water and food, but the harvest should not be for anything other than your food for, take your food back, When that i'tikaf is wajib, it will mean that it has to be performed all over again. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam never left the mosque during the i'tikaf except for the calls to nature and wudu. So the masjid does not include the place to go to the bathroom or the places, the trough to go wash up. I don't know if you call it a trough, but you know what I mean. But a mosque can include all sorts of things. It can include an office where there's a phone ringing. A masjid is not supposed to include that. As for Ibn Abbas, radiyallahu anhu, leaving the mosque to do some favor to a friend, it was in the spirit that is reminiscent of the soldier at the point of death in the battlefield of Yarmouk, refusing to drink water until his wounded comrade had been given the drink. On the other hand, it is quite possible that Ibn Abbas, Radiyallahu anhu, was performing nafil-i-i'tikaf, in which case it was permissible for him to break it off. I now quote a lengthy hadith in which many virtues are mentioned, and with this I conclude the book. Now, watch it. If it's barred, if you're fulfilling a promise to do retreat, then it has to be made up. If it's just a recommended deed, or it seems the best thing to do, that's different. It still is on the voluntary, as in, you voluntarily, you make the choices to practice your faith, but you know what I mean, that it's not, the faith doesn't oblige it, but you still do it.